Yes, that's the tip number 1, which of course demands no trick, no myth, no setting. What's popping, everybody? Alex here, and welcome to yet another episode where I'm going to show you 4 things you have to master for you to record high quality screen recorded videos using Filmora 14. There is no setting in Wondershare Filmora for you to either reduce or increase the font of the interface, but this is just your graphics card, okay? And of course, my dear friend, if you are ever going to edit high quality videos that you have screen recorded, the very first thing right here is to deal with the quality. And right here, set it to the highest there is, which is the higher, and of course 60 FPS. And down here is again one more important issue: you have to enable the GPU acceleration. And of course right here there is nothing more that you can do, because this actually takes from the default resolution of your monitor. Alright, like in this case right here, this laptop uses the 1920 by 1080, which is the full HD. Well, my dear friends, having all that out of the way, let's move on and find out which effects are you supposed to know. And right here, my dear friend, the very first effect that I'm going to give you here is called the enlarge. Alright, so head on to the effects tab and then search for the enlarge. And of course, I highly recommend you to add this to your favorites. And right now, you can drag it straight to the piece of your recorded video in the timeline. And once you have done that, here you go. You can see right on the screen how this is looking. So what you're going to do right now, for this effect, you are going to animate the video itself, not the effect. Get me right? Get me right. Not the effect, but the video itself. Alright, so this is how you do it. Double select your screen recorded video and then move on to the transform tab. And right here, of course, you need to increase some values on the scale here. Alright, let me say example 10 more, that is 110, okay? And then now, if something that you are emphasizing in the video is down here, that means we have to pull it down, alright, which is reducing the Y position of this video. Alright, and it looks in this way. And then after a few frames, you add another keyframe and you reset it, okay? And when you do the ease in and ease out keyframes right here in the timeline, it is going to look like this. How beautiful, how beautiful. As if it's not enough, the second effect right here, my dear friend, is, let me say because they are 2. It's not 1, but of course it's 1 in 2 or 2 in 1. I don't know what to say. Alright, let me show it to you. This time around, just go to the basics, and just down here you are going to see the 3D motion right and the 3D motion left. Well, let's drag this down and see how does it work. Go again to the effects tab of this video, and this time around, get me right again, this time around you are going to animate the effect, not the video itself. Well, this is how you do it. So as you can see right here on the preview screen, this effect is much more useful if you want to emphasize a certain particular point. Alright, as you can see right here, you can actually increase the blur so that, you know, a certain particular area will only be visible in the whole frame, and the rest of the frame will be blurred. Okay, blurred. As you can see right here, as you can see with this effect, you can either reduce or increase the blur. If you just want to use it without the blur, you can just reduce it to 0. If you want the blur to emphasize a certain particular point, you can then increase the blur and then zoom straight to that particular area which is not blurred. Well, of course, this is how you set the exact area that you want to emphasize. You can move around the clear area, the area of emphasis, using the X, moving it horizontal like in this way right here, or else you can move it vertical using the Y position like in this way. Alright, and then you can find exactly the area that you want to emphasize. And of course, you can set the speed that you want your zoom to be. For example, right here, if I put it to the full blast like this way, as you can see right here, it zooms so fast in such a way that, of course, it won't be looking nice. So I'd like to reduce the speed right here, like in this way, to make it so slow and make that motion so nice and beautiful. And this is the feather. And this is the zoom level, right? If you want to zoom exactly so close, you can increase the zoom like in this way. But if you just want to make a reasonable zoom, just play around like like something like 10 or 15. All right, so as you can see right here, there are keyframes on this effect, which means you can actually play it around and then animate as you zoom out, zoom in, move around, increase the blur, reduce the blur, and all that. And by the end of the day, you have something nice. Moving on to the last effect, but not the least. Well, my dear friends, once done the effects, we are moving on to some of the things that you need to know within the list. And this is the corner pin effect. Well, just like the two previous ones, this one right here is actually a little more advanced from the fact that you actually adjust it yourself. You decide how the 3D motion is looking like, wobbling this side or wobbling the other side. Okay, so to give you full control, the corner pin effect decides that you actually shift the perspectives around to produce the very thing that you want. As you can see right here from my previous screen, I can move this around like in this way, or else I can move the other way around here. And again, you can add some keyframes to make the animations so nice and smooth. And after you've done your keyframes right, there is your corner pin effect. Well, my dear friends, now that you understand the effects that you need to know to edit better screen recorded videos, let's move on to something which is called the keyframes. And now, my dear friend, you may think that what's the difference between the effects and the keyframes? What's the difference? It's almost the same. No, it's not. There's something you need to know from the keyframes as keyframes without having nothing to do with the effects, alright? So I would like you to notice something here. If you want those long, slow motion zooms, which sometimes cannot be noticed, but those kind of zooms are made with no other effects but you doing the keyframes, long keyframes. Well, did you notice a slow motion zoom that was showing up from the moment I started talking about the keyframes? And that, my friend, is one outstanding advantage of keyframes. Keyframes on their own have a very, very huge advantage. Well, I would like to assume that almost everyone knows how to add keyframes, but let me just repeat that. You can use this option right here to add a keyframe, or else go to the transform tab here and then add a transform keyframe, which is going to add on your scale, on the positions, and on almost everything that is under the transform tab. And then after a few frames, you can slowly zoom or else fast zoom to something that you want to bring more emphasis. Like in this case right here, I'm just zooming straight to the previous screen, alright? And after you have done that, you are now supposed to add a smooth effect to your zoom, or it can be a zoom in or a zoom out. There is still a need of that smooth effect, alright? So for you to do that, you have to open the keyframing panel, and in this Filmora 14, you have to find it right down here in the timeline, alright? So just right select your file and then show the keyframing panel, or else you can just select this icon here, which is almost unnoticeable, but you can still use that other method, alright? And right here, my dear friend, you are going to find all your keyframes lining up here, and provided that this option right here, which is the keyframing panel option, is selected or turned on or activated. If you have it off here, as you can see here, there is no option for you to do the curves and so forth. But if it's on here, okay, you can find out that there is options for you right here, so that you can select the keyframes and then choose the graph that you wanna use, either the ease in, the ease out, the continuous curve, the curve, and so forth and so forth. All right. And if you have got that right, you now know how to use keyframes to edit your screen recorded videos. Let's move on. And here, my friend, this is about the stickers. I'm not sure about gaming, how useful they are when you are doing gaming videos, but when you are doing tutorials, these are a must. I've already showed you the effects and the keyframes with the idea of emphasizing a certain particular point that you want your audience to notice or to see what you are doing right there. But for you to actually nail that exactly position that you want to show up is best for you if you use the elements, alright? And when you select right here, you find a lot of them here, elements like arrows, circles, and so forth and so forth. And that's all, my dear friend. But before I give you the bonus tip, if you have found some value so far, be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for the next episode like this one. The bonus tip. Well, every time that you record your screen, there are some parts that you really want to delete, and there are also some parts that you need to fast forward. So now this is the tip that is going to save your time through all those processes. Right, select your video in the timeline and then go to this option right here, which is show speed control. Alright, so this is going to help you. Instead of going to the speed tab every time that you want to increase or reduce the speed, you just have to move the slider like in this way here, and then you can increase or reduce the speed. Okay. Well, thank you so much, my dear friend, for watching this video to this very point. You can check out this video right here for more tips from this channel.
Bye.